It's time to kick it off, yeah. It's time to do it right. Amber May Show is here with topics you like out of the desert where the sun gets hot. So drop on into that Amber May spot.
A-M-B-E-R-M-A-Y, that's fly.
Get it right, get it right.
A-M-B-E-R-M-A-Y, that's why.
Time to kick it off, yeah. It's time to do it right. Amber May Show is here with topics you like out of the desert where the sun gets hot. So drop on into that Amber May spot. It's time to kick it off, yeah. It's time to do it right. Amber May Show is here with topics you like out of the desert where the sun gets hot. So drop on into that Amber May spot.
Welcome to the Amber May Show. I'm glad you can tune in today. Today we're going to be talking about a very important topic, something that most schools don't really go into a lot of detail about. And we're going to go over this for probably a couple more shows down the road. We probably won't be able to cover this all in one show, but I wanted to get into it. And we're going to be talking about the Bill of Rights. You've probably heard someone say, I have a right to, and then you can fill in the blank. The question is, do we really have that right? So we're going to be looking at our Constitution, Bill of Rights, and examining what our rights really are. Do we really have every right that we think we do? And I have a few websites posted up on my blog at myspace.com/AmberMayAZ, where you can get your free Constitution and your free copy of the Bill of Rights, as well as seeing what rights you have in your state. And if you're listening from another country and would like your laws put up for people to learn about, you can check out that website. It's on my blog at myspace.com/AmberMayAZ. And there you can also podcast the shows. If you have an iPod or an MP3 player, I have a link on my MySpace page where you can podcast the shows and share them with other people. So just want to give you that heads up on that. So check it out. Go to my blog, check it out, and get your free copy of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights today. I just ordered mine. I didn't know it was free. It was pretty cool. And on a side note, I just want to say I've heard a lot of commotion these days about voting and about the lesser of the two evils. Well, if you're a Democrat and you don't really want the Republicans in because they messed everything up, I don't want to vote for McCain, even though he might be good, because he's a Republican and I don't want a Republican in, so I'm going to vote for Obama. And vice versa, if you're a Republican and you're like, God forbid, I don't want a Democrat in office, so I'm not going to vote for Obama, and you don't like your candidates on the party that you already have, you don't have to settle for the lesser of two evils because you're still voting for evil. There's some grassroots people out there that are running for office, and actually I voted one in. I wrote in, I got an early ballot, and I voted one in because frankly I don't like either one of the candidates. I think it's time for change, just like Obama says. I agree with him. I think it's time for change, but can those career politicians really bring the change we need? So don't listen to people when they give you crap that said, oh, you just threw away a vote, now Obama's getting in, or oh, McCain's getting in, now thanks a lot. Don't listen to that. Your responsibility is to vote for who you think is best. And maybe it is time for change, and maybe neither Democrat or Republican can really bring it. So I'm going to throw that out there. Think about it. Go look up the Constitution Party. I know Chuck Baldwin's running for office there. He sounds like a pretty good guy. And then there's a libertarian, I believe, running. I don't know a lot about the libertarian, but I encourage you to do some research, and maybe it's time to write in a candidate. Maybe it's time for grassroots people, not career politicians. We're not being heard in Washington, so maybe it is time for a change. So I just want to throw it out there. You're not throwing away a vote. You need to vote the way you think is the best and who's best for the job, even if they don't win. Enough with that. I'm going to read the amendments right off of the website that's posted on my blog. It's harbornet.com. So we're going to begin with Amendment 1. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or the press, or the right of the people to assemble peacefully and petition the government for a redress of grievances. And you know what? Right now, this is one of the best amendments we could ever have. If there's something going on that's under your skin, just like the photo radar cameras here in Arizona are driving me crazy. They're like at every mile of the road, and it's just, I feel like a taxation without representation. They don't solve crimes. They don't do anything. And most people don't know what the Constitution says in Arizona. And we're not the only state that has this, and there's ways of getting out of those tickets because they're really not that valid. And we have justices here. I've come across a few letters from justices who are against these cameras, and it's our right to petition. It's about time we petition our government for stuff. This is important. When anyone takes 1 ounce or one little Bill of Rights away, you can kiss all the Bill of Rights away. That's why I feel it's very important that we go through the Bill of Rights. So the First Amendment, because if you ask most Americans, they barely can tell you any of them, maybe 3 or 4. So that's why I wanted to go through this, because I want to know what my rights are as a U.S. citizen, because I really don't know all of them. And so I'm doing this roadmap with you together so we can learn this stuff. So Amendment 1, Congress can make no law establishing religion or prohibiting the exercise of religion of any kind, or abridging our freedom of speech and not allowing us to say whatever we want to say. That's our First Amendment right. And they cannot control the press. That is so important. And we have a right to peacefully petition our government for a redress of grievances. Now, I'm going to get on to the Second Amendment. I'm a pro Second Amendment kind of girl, and it's very important. There's some people in our government who wants to have gun control. Gun control is a form of slowly taking our Second Amendment rights. You may not like guns and you may not agree with them, but that's still your right, and the government has no business to take away that right, because down the road maybe you'll change your mind, and you better be able to have that choice to change your mind or not. I think guns are great because it protects people, but most importantly, our forefathers put that into our Constitution for a very specific purpose. I'll read it to you. It says, "A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed." That means our forefathers put that in because they fought for this country. They were fighting the world power at the time, a world power that was not giving people freedoms to do what they wanted, a world power that oppressed them, a world power that controlled every ounce of their life. And our forefathers went through that, and history repeats itself. And if we take the Second Amendment or gun control or any like that away, then we don't have the ability to fight for a free country if our government gets too large. And I hate to tell you guys, but it's going down that path where our government is just regulating every stinking thing. Come on, get out of it. It's a free country. You don't have any right to regulate everything. So it's very important that we keep our Second Amendment right so that we can have a fight with a militia if necessary for a free state, and to protect our families from intruders breaking in. It's so important. So please don't be pro-gun control. Maybe you don't like guns, but it might be necessary down the road. Our forefathers saw what happened, and history repeats itself. So this might be a very necessary right to have. So I want you to think about that. Amendment 3, no soldier shall in a time of peace or quartered in any house without the consent of the owner, nor in time of war, but in a manner to be prescribed by law. I never heard of this amendment before. I'm glad I'm reading this, because according to the Constitution, no soldier can come into our house without our permission. They have to get consent from us. So if something's happening without a court order at the very least, if they're not getting your permission, you have a right to fight that. So that's really a neat kind of amendment that we have. I didn't know about that before. But what we're going to do is we're going to take a break, and we'll come back after this. I hope you tune in next week. We're going to be talking about Article 4, and that's an important one. A lot of people see these cop shows, and it's not all legit, the cop shows, and that's really how people find out about their rights, and that's pretty sad. So you're not going to want to miss the Fourth Amendment, and that will be talked about next week, and I'll see you again later. Take care.